Breaking news for the Ripple and XRP community, as today we got confirmation the war on XRP is officially over. And today we are going to be breaking down several important updates with the Ethereum sidechain going live. We have XRP ETF filings, and of course, we have an XRP price chart update showing our listeners how their patience is set to pay off towards the back end of 2025. Hello and welcome back to Good Evening Crypto, your favorite crypto news related channel. If you enjoy this type of content, smash that like button and subscribe to the brand new Good Evening Crypto channel. Now, this was an update out of Ripple's CEO, Brad Garlinghouse. Ripple is dropping our cross appeal, and the SEC is expected to drop their appeal, as they previously stated. We're closing this chapter once and for all, focusing on what's important, building the internet of value, lock in, said Ripple's CEO. And this is a moment we've been waiting for several years because of the impact that this will have on the United States crypto economy. From this point forward, the SEC is not only expected to approve an XRP ETF, we are also anticipating that we are going to see Wall Street companies begin stepping into the space, starting with this project right here, XRP. And with this official resolution in the Rippleverse SEC lawsuit, we are anticipating the American markets being opened in a way that we have never seen before. Whether it's United States stablecoins, crypto ETF products, or the regulation of the digital asset market, we have several major catalysts happening at the back end of this year that lead the XRP community to be more optimistic than they have ever been before. Here's another reason that I'm increasingly more optimistic about the altcoin market and specifically XRP. Rice Delman, who founded a $300 billion investment advisory firm, recommends 40% crypto allocation for aggressive investors. He states even conservatives should put 10% of their new investments into the crypto market. He continues by stating, owning crypto is no longer a speculative position, but failing to do so is. And we've seen this over the past 15 years since the inception of many of our favorite projects, whether it's XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, or several others in the top 100. This asset class has been growing at a rate far faster than the S&P 500, and we anticipate this journey is just beginning. A couple of major details shared within this report: the traditional 60-40 stock bond allocation model is dead, according to this stock market representative. Conservative investors should now have at least 10% crypto allocation, while moderate clients should place 25%, and aggressive clients should allocate 40% of their total investment portfolio into crypto. He continues by telling us, owning crypto is no longer a speculative position, but failing to do so is. There's no logic to omitting an asset class that's outperformed all others for 15 consecutive years. So the real question, are you a fiduciary serving your client's best interests, or are you simply an order taker avoiding difficult conversations? This is the type of narrative we've been promoting here on Good Morning Crypto, that the largest pools of capital on the planet are only a few months away from pitching our favorite blockchains to millions of their clients. But it's not just Wall Street who's excited about the adoption of digital assets. We have sitting President Donald Trump telling us he says he's a big fan of crypto.
Well, it's a very funny thing, crypto. So I became a fan of crypto, and to me, it's an industry. I view it as an industry, and I'm president. And if we didn't have it, China would, or somebody else would, but most likely China. China would love to. And we've dominated that industry. It's a big industry, by the way. In fact, when the stock market went down recently, crypto and Bitcoin and all of that went down much less than anybody else as a group. And we've created a very powerful industry, and that's much more important than anything that we invest in. We invest in it, but really that was an industry that wasn't doing particularly well. I got involved with it a couple of years ago, and before the second term, I got involved before I decided to run. I only decided to run because I saw what was happening, and Biden was incompetent, and the administration was crooked and incompetent. And I was in Bitcoin then, not knowing if I was going to do it a third time. So it's become amazing. I mean, it's the jobs that it produces. And I notice more and more you pay in Bitcoin. I mean, people are saying it takes a lot of pressure off the dollar, and it's a great thing for our country. So I don't care about investing. You know, I have kids, and they invest in different things. They do believe in it. But I'm president, and what I did do there is build an industry that's very important. And, you know, if we didn't have it, China would.
But it's not just the promises made by President Trump, it's the promises being kept that are so important. This is an update that he provided on Twitter, stating that we are on the precipice of crypto regulation here in the summer of 2025. The Senate just passed an incredible bill that is going to make America the undisputed leader in digital assets. Nobody will do it better. It is pure genius. Digital assets are the future, and our nation will own it. We are talking about massive investment and big innovation. The House will hopefully move lightning fast and pass a Clean Genius Act. Get it on my desk ASAP No delays, no add-ons. This is American brilliance at its best, and we are going to show the world how to win with digital assets like never before. So we are only a few months away from not only stablecoin legislation passed, but a market structure bill entering the American markets, clarifying which of these assets are commodities, which of these assets are securities, and which altcoins investors all around the world should be adding to their balance sheets. And multi-billion-dollar asset manager GRAYSCALE is already taking advantage of this new American innovation, as they have filed with the SEC to amend their GRAYSCALE digital large cap fund into a spot ETF product, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, and Cardano. And this would be the start of American spot ETFs being captured by every major financial company on the planet. BlackRock, Fidelity, Bank of America, GRAYSCALE, Franklin Templeton, all of these multi-trillion-dollar asset managers are going to begin adding many of our favorite altcoins to their clients' portfolios. And with the approval of this GRAYSCALE digital large cap ETF, we would then see several spot products for XRP, Solana, and Cardano quickly be launched here inside the United States, according to ETF store issuer Nate Garassi. So now that we have a clear understanding that Wall Street is not only ready to enter the digital asset class, but they have billions of dollars allocated on the sidelines, ready to invest in many of our favorite projects, let's discuss what the Ripple versus SEC resolution means for Ripple and their business model. If you're enjoying this content, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the brand new Good Evening Crypto channel. Fred Rispoli stated, "I see a lot of confusion out there about what the injunction means for Ripple in regard to the ban on institutional sales. You're forcing me to go back and reread the summary judgment pleadings, but the TLDR is institutional sales is a defined term that only refers to exactly what Ripple did from its existence through 2018, meaning with the new pro-crypto SEC, this presumably will allow Ripple to be more transparent with their institutional sales. And the SEC is comfortable with and has provided guidance on those to state what is acceptable, and the SEC with or without registrational statements. For the first time ever, we have both Ripple and the SEC working together to integrate the digital asset class, and they're not going the regulation by enforcement route. Instead, the SEC is guiding them through this process, which is what it should have been from the beginning. Just a quick reminder, if you want a little XRP analysis, be sure to stick around until the end of the episode. This is iTrust Capital's CEO describing how the XRP community is shocking Wall Street investors.
Surprisingly, there is a very strong XRP army out there, and they are fanatical about XRP and the potential for XRP. We speak to Ripple often. We think they're amazing and sharp people. They have some innovative products coming down the pipeline. We'd love to work with them at some level to allow the XRP army, these fanatics that really are excited about the potential to do more with their XRP. So that's a big one.
And it's to no surprise to anyone in the XRP community that we stand alone in this regard. With United States clarity now almost in full effect, it is the XRP ledger that is going to be at the forefront of this financial innovation centered around blockchain. Whether it's financial companies, traditional banks, or some of the largest payment providers on the planet, the XRP community has more positive catalysts set to happen towards the back end of 2025 than any other blockchain product in the market. And what's most exciting about many of these catalysts, whether it's stablecoins, tokenization of real world assets, or crypto ETFs, once these spigots of liquidity are turned on, we are going to see money flowing into these blockchains like we've never seen before. But most importantly, it is going to stay there for years to come. So the logical question we must ask ourselves, 10 years ago today, Bitcoin was only $250. Now it's a $100,000 asset. What will the price of XRP be worth 10 years from today? And I'd love to hear that in the comments underneath the video. What is your XRP price prediction for the year 2035? Well, what do we know from looking at the XRP price chart? Whether you're thinking about 10 years from now or you're thinking about 10 days from today, it appears that the bottom is in for the XRP community. And we saw it occur in early April with the tariff scare reaching about $1.61. Just a couple of weeks ago, we had this scare happen right here, and the XRP price pulled back to $1.90. But it is from that point forward that this market has been doing nothing but climb. And I believe when we get a daily closure above $2.60, it is off to the races for the XRP community. Many of our listeners have been in this market since 2017. And for the first time in a very long time, we are looking at a price chart that is long overdue for a double-digit price target. And this data really does speak for itself. Whether you're looking at the RSI finally bottoming out and turning bullish, we also have the XRP price chart holding $2 with validity. Every time we get close to that $2 price target, a buy wall comes in and pushes us to price targets that we've been waiting for. So the real question is, how long do we have to hold this $2 wall before we break out and retest all-time highs here in 2025? Well, I think the answer is after market regulation occurs this summer, followed by crypto ETFs being approved in October, we are going to see the altcoin market explode in a way like we have never seen before. And it's not just the XRP price chart. Whether it's Solana, Ethereum, Cardano, or several others, many of these blockchain products that have been undervalued for years are finally on the precipice of doing something historic and creating brand new all-time highs. So while we may be talking about whether XRP is $2 or $2.25 today, the macro picture on an asset like this is the journey is only beginning. And we don't have to look far. We can draw the correlation between what we saw with Bitcoin over these last 10 years to what we can anticipate for the altcoin community and specifically XRP over this next half decade. Stablecoins are anticipated to reach $3.7 trillion by the year 2030. Tokenization of real-world assets could reach upwards of $20 trillion. We could see crypto ETFs in general reach nearly $1 trillion in total value when it comes to assets under management. That is nearly $25 trillion with a T sitting on the sidelines, ready to enter the digital asset class. And so we must ask ourselves the question, how much longer will we be able to purchase these altcoins at these discount prices? I believe great change is happening much sooner than people anticipate. Here's a great breakdown from the Modern Investor.
Years ago, XRP was 1 cent. When it went over $2, it doesn't really appear this way, but it kind of became out of reach for a lot of people. You wouldn't expect that for $2. It's because people were used to buying tens of thousands of XRP for very little money, very, very little money. As XRP goes higher in price to $5 to $10, people then go, well, if I put 100, I'm only getting 10 XRP. But then the problem is there at some point, XRP goes to 100. It goes to 450. Now, I know we're talking down the line, but this is the general mindset of it. At some point, the price is going to rise a lot higher. And then you'll look back at that $2 and go, I should have got it at $2 as opposed to 450. At some point, Bitcoin was also 1 cent, 50 cents, $1. I remember, and I'll tell you, when I dove into crypto, late 2016, when I made the other channel, The Modern Investor, and when I made this channel, I remember Bitcoin being around 2,000, something thousand. And I'll tell you, honestly, I remember looking at the price and being like, $3,000. I can do a lot with that. I can take a trip here and I can do that. And that's groceries for this many months. And all these things would go through my head. When you look at 100,000 and then you look at 3,000, it's a no-brainer. You simply sit there and you go, well, yeah, of course, if I had a time machine, I'd do it. There are a lot of people beginning to mention things like this. And I think when people hear it, read it, or go over it, it almost seems unbelievable to them that they could or actually would be priced out of the cryptocurrency market. And I think it's because we're here in the present. And it's only when you look back and you go, that's how cheap it was. I can't believe that.
And that is exactly what I think we are on the precipice of as altcoin investors overall. But chat, I would love to hear, ones, if you agree with the Modern Investor, twos, if you disagree underneath the video. Also, if you appreciate this content, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the brand new channel. This is some data all of our listeners should take to heart. It only takes 2,500 XRP to be in the top 10% of global holders. And what people underestimate about this is that as the asset XRP continues to increase in price, it is going to become more difficult every single year to accumulate a large bag of XRP. So it's the early investors that are in this market right now that are going to have that exponential growth advantage, compounding over several years, leading us to believe that many of us could reach the generational wealth we've all been discussing. So with this lawsuit finally over, crypto ETFs on the horizon, a United States market structure bill days away from being approved, and maybe most importantly, Wall Street beginning to pitch blockchain products to their clients, this is one of the reasons I believe we are already in the golden age for digital asset adoption here inside the United States. I would love to hear underneath the video, what is your peak 2025 XRP price projection this calendar year, guys? We appreciate you all, and we'll see you in the next one.